pop it up. Yeah, you shouldn't diss, now you get more forensic on my radio with
Hey guys, this is Smitty Smith bringing you another video commentary. This is another game of Domination on Zoo, and I'm going to make this basically my second commentary on the dumb shit that has happened to me throughout my life. And what we're doing here is basically, I'm not going to talk much about the gameplay. I want to talk about some of the stuff that's happened, throughout the course of me being me for the 30 years that I've been around. And this story actually takes place in 1999. I was in high school. I was a senior, and a few friends of mine and I would play a game that we had appropriately called Pull Teddy. Now, before I get into the story, I need to stress that this game is dangerous, it's stupid, I don't condone it. We did a lot of dumb shit as kids, and this is one of those things. Don't play this game, okay? But what Pull Teddy is basically we would take a teddy bear, or later on in our Pull Teddy career, a coonskin cap, anything like that, put it on a rope or a fishing pole, set it across the road, and when a car would drive by, we would pull it across the road. Right. I know what you're thinking, because as I look back on it, I think the same thing. What a stupid fucking game. What's wrong with us? I'll tell you, we were young, we were stupid. That's the only excuse that I have. So, again, don't do this, okay? But what this was is in one of my pals' houses. I lived in a place called Livermore Falls, Maine, and we were in a small town, a little suburb type area called Livermore, which had a major route, running through the town, but other than that, not a lot of people. So it was mostly long haul truckers and shit that would drive on it. But we were out one day. We were about 300 or 400 yards away from my friend's house, down on this main route, and there was a giant batch of bamboo. Well, we decided, there was 8 of us, we decided that we were going to play a game of Pull Teddy. And before we left his house, we get all our stuff together. I always wore dark clothes or camo in some cases. I grabbed a few eggs to throw at cars that would drive by as well, because we knew the woods well enough to know that we could run and not be caught, and that's what we were planning on. Alright, so we had been out there for, I don't know, probably a half hour, 40 minutes or so, playing Pull Teddy. I'd thrown a couple of eggs at people. I don't think I had hit anybody, otherwise they probably would have stopped, but a car was coming. Me and my friends were scattered about. There was 4 or 5 of us in the bamboo pile. 2 of them were up in the ditch, ready to pull the coonskin cap across the road. A couple of more were, scattered around. They pulled the teddy, if you will, and at the same time I tossed an egg. And this car, and it was a minivan, hauled on its brakes and whipped onto the little road that we were on, and there was a small parking lot type thing behind us where people could keep trailers and stuff like that. Pulled in there, and some friends of mine, they took off. Me, being the overthinker that I am, decided, you know what, we're not going to run, and I told one of my friends, don't run, don't go anywhere, because what's going to happen is this guy isn't going to come into the bamboo. He's going to find the guys that are running first, because you could plainly see them just take off. Well, it didn't work out that way. Instead, he came into the bamboo, didn't go after the people that ran off, and grabbed a friend of mine and me, because, we were the only 2 that didn't run. Well, come to find out, this guy, he was there with his family. He had his wife, he had his 2 kids, and he had his pit bull with him, and his or a Rottweiler. I don't know what it was. It was a big ass dog, and it would have chewed my ass had we sat around or had we taken off. So, what we decided to do, he grabbed us, he pulled us, out of the bamboo. He was pissed, and I'm thinking, shit, my egg must have hit his car. This guy's gonna tear me apart. Turns out he was a drill sergeant in the Army. what type of luck is that the only people that stop that are pissed off is this drill sergeant guy, all right? Grabs my friend and I, and basically tells us, get in the fucking van. So we do. So, we're 17 years old, don't know what the hell to do. He takes us down to the local corner store and says, you need to call your parents. He says, what's your phone number? And immediately I tell him I don't have a phone. I was kind of a poor kid. It may or may not have been true. I can't remember. But as my friend is dialing his parents, he says, hang the phone up. Immediately we do. We hang the phone up. It's a payphone. He puts us back in his minivan, hauls us back to the place where we were, and one of our dumbass friends is standing there, waiting for us to come back, I'm assuming, underneath this street light. So, of course, he now gets grabbed, too. Okay, well, this drill sergeant is giving us the what have you, letting us know. He pulls his son out of the minivan and he says, look, I don't believe in physical violence. If I did, I would kick your ass, and he could have. He says, but what I'm going to make you do, and he has his son show us, he says, you're going to do some push-ups. Well, this is the middle of November, so it was football season, and I was a football player, all-state lineman. I was a pretty tough, ripped dude, and he tells me we're going to do some push-ups. So this is great. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at push-ups. It's what we do to train for football. Well, he has us start doing our push-ups, and one of my friends, every time, the way we were positioned was at the back of the minivan. Minivan's running. Every time he did a push-up up, his face was right at the exhaust, so he's getting a face full of exhaust every single time he does a push-up. So he starts doing girl push-ups so he can do them faster and go down to the ground faster. And the drill sergeant just, starts razzing on this kid. If this was high school and this guy was saying these things to this kid, he'd probably get suspended for bullying or something along those lines. There was some mean shit that came out of this dude's mouth. But I did I probably did close to 150 or 200 push-ups. With adrenaline going and things like that. You don't really worry about how many you can do and whatnot. But he takes us to my friend's house. He drops us off. He gives us the lecture of, look, you guys, this is something stupid. You shouldn't do it. My friend had a nice place. He said, if this house is something that I'd love to, my family to have one day, and you could have taken that away. And looking back on it, obviously he's right. We shouldn't have done it. But he lets us go with just some push-ups and a stern talking to. Well, we enter my friend's house, and it's just me and the two guys that got caught, and the lights are all out, and so we're yelling for my friend, where are you? And he yells back, are you alone? And yes, we are. He dropped us off. He turns the lights on, and he's at the top of his stairs with a fucking rifle. Okay, he's ready to whoop some dude's ass, ready to shoot some guy for coming into his house. That's how scared I guess he was. But all our friends, eventually gathered. There was, like I said, I think 8 of us, and one of us had run through the water, and it was semi-iced over, so he's freezing, waist-high water. The rest of us had, hidden throughout the woods and things like that, and my father had always told me, I don't care what you do, go out, have fun, get in trouble, raise hell, but if you ever get caught, I'm going to kick your ass. So, my childhood was always, I'll do some things, I'll do some bad things like kids do, but don't ever do anything bad enough to where my dad is going to find out and kick my ass, because he would do it, if I deserved it, and that's how it should be, honestly. But that's pretty much it for the story. My dad gave me a talking to. Never get into the minivan of some dude that you don't know. He goes, but other than that, because I eventually told him, he had nothing else to say. So that's it. Don't do it. Stay off drugs. Thanks, guys.